Hello, and welcome to the Rangaroo cast with me, Rangaroo. And today we are doing a 4v4 on straight to the point, the land version, no naval involved. So, on Team Run on the blue 4 side, we have Chouchen, Aquelon, Dobcza, and Alex Wright. And on Team 2, on the left side, playing red 4, we got CrimsonShiva, CF23 Llama Thumper, FlyByWire, and Run Guy. So let's speed things up and get things going, Harry. So everyone starts deploying the units and putting down markers and where they're going to be going. I believe a lot of the players in this match are French. They are French, I believe so. Yeah. And here we go. We can have any planes off the bat. Nope, none whatsoever. So blue 4 getting a few helicopters, mainly a lot of ground units though. For the main assault, got some Caterpies and Celtics going up north here. Try to defend Bravo. Our red 4 doing a bit differently. They got a lot of helicopters, a bunch of MIH with Igloo and infantry inside of them. As well as some MI-24D transport helicopters and a MiG-29 flying around. So definitely a lot more air-heavy play from the Reds. But blue 4 going to be landing into Delta with Panthers, and there goes Commando Marines. Getting the point. And red 4 completely bypassing Delta and going, well, they're just going to go straight for Bravo? It can't seem so. The Mirage is going to spot it, and now blue 4 knows that his push is happening up top. They might not deal with it. Now the Caterpie and Celtic could probably get a few shots off. Celtic could probably shoot maybe 2 of them down. And all the infantry has landed. And even though they are pretty far away from the Bravo point, which seemed like he wanted to attack, he can still disperse into his forest, and it can be very hard to find him. That's what we're doing with his VDVs and Dobczas. In the middle, it's actually pretty quiet. We've got a little bit of a push coming up from red 4. Or actually, it's going to be bringing up some Stinger guys to hold on to Echo. Bit of a ground push, or ground movement over here. Bunch of Chinese mortars, some tanks, and a few infantry transports. Or blue 4 mainly bringing up the infantry. And they're actually bringing up a lot of infantry to deal with the red 4 push. Try to clear out that forest. Going 8 eager up in the sky. Try to get a few helicopters. And there's the mortars firing. But actually firing smoke to try and move up, but there's no need because there's nothing in the blue 4 forest, so they do not know that. Still good preemptive measures, yo. Yeah, very good usement of smoke. A perfect line for him to move up from Echo into Delta, completely covered. It seems like the red 4 assault up here is going to get cleaned out. Already picking off a few units. It does seem that the Dobczas and VDV-90 are going to get out scot-free, so they can cause a bit of havoc behind enemy lines. And the infantry transport's moving up. Corsons as well. And it's a very good offensive maneuver here. It can unload, red 4 can unload their infantry in the forest and move up into Delta. Capture that. Yeah, blue 40 knows that. They've moved up. There's a constant mortar fire once again, trying to get the Commando Marines. Bit of airplay up top. Bit of a dogfight for the Mirage and the MiG-29. Yeah, both of them just going to pull out. Trincurie sort of landing at the wrong time. The Zantes are going in for a kill. attack car might going to pull out a bit, because Red 4 do have quite a presence onto Delta. There goes the Zanchies to the Panthers. The Panthers have a very nice 68mm rocket. And more mortar fire. Trying to get the infantry CV. Zanchies doing some long range engagement on this. So cheap it, and away it goes. Now if you check the Red 4 infantry back here, the VDVs have been spotted. They took a few casualties, and the Chasseurs and the Assault Engineers are going in for the kill. But the Dobczas are still alive, so maybe they can cause a little bit of mischief. Now up top, Blue 4 has managed to capture this town across the bridge, which is probably one of the biggest points if they want to keep hold of Delta, because having hold of this town allows them to block entry, or if they pop some ATTM guys in them, they could block entrance across this open field and completely cover this approach. Okay, I can still have to worry about the infantry in the forest over in Delta. Best answer to that would probably be a lot of napalm. Because napalm usually fixes all of life's problems. And more riflemen are going to be trying to go over, gaining a foothold into that town. MiG-25, bunch of bombs. Just trying to get a hit here and there. That's a pretty unsuccessful bombing run. Now the Blue 4 are moving up in the infantry position with some tanks and standard M1 Abrams and MBT-70s, or one MBT-70, Legionnaires in front. The Chinese, they do have that nice CTG-62, and even though it's lightly armoured, it does have a very powerful gun. A lot more so in the Abrams. It seems like Blue 4 push will not be happening, because it just got stopped. But they do have control over Delta still. It's still a neutral game. Their Red 4 are slightly in the lead. Bit of a bombing run in the AA positions. And Tiger 2 is trying to get T-72B, but the LSTR are in range. And oh, Tiger 2 getting the first shot off and killing them with the snebs. Doesn't allow itself to pull back. I'm going to be firing into the forest trying to get a few infantry pickoffs. Blue 4 slow but surely starting to mop this up. And oh, a Nighthawk. Good old Nighthawk run. Marines and LVTPs in the forest. Very deadly combination. And all what's left for Red 4 is like 2 line infantry. And a couple of AA guys, not an awful lot. Mirage on MiG, seems like neither of them can get the kill though. And the Mirage is going to be able to pull out. Yeah, it does get out just barely. Spetsnaz managing to make a quite nice landing on the bottom of Delta. And Red 4 now trying to move up through the other side and... Right, is he... Okay. Sort of cluster artillery in his own troops. Even though all he is sitting as infantry. And cluster artillery does nothing to infantry. Yeah, what an odd place to cluster artillery. And the only thing holding this town down here in Delta, a couple of Commando Marines and Chasseurs. Not an awful lot. And Red 4, see, they have quite a big amount of forces. All ready to move up. And they do have an awful lot of artillery. That cluster artillery just continues to fire. How many smirks does he have? He has 2 smirks, some pions. I don't see the pions being used too much, or any heavy tube artillery. People like to bring out the AS-90s and sizes the all-round very powerful artillery unit. Yeah, the ZBDs, what are you doing there? As they're using the amphibious, tracing their vehicles and crossing the river. Let's allow those BMP runs to unload. But the assault engineers are starting to home in. Let's allow firing onto the Echo Forest now. Getting a few good hits here. And still, with like 20 minutes left, or 23 minutes left, Red 4 are in the lead. That's a very good sniper from Blue 4, sniping off the Alpha CV. Now both, seems like two players actually buying a CV to plop onto Alpha. Yep, they just brought two CVs. Better be safe than sorry, I guess. But a very good gank here. And that's going to allow Blue 4 to catch up quite a bit. They might even get the lead. And now because the Red 4 forces up top and Delta have been cleared out, Blue 4 are sort of trying making an assault here. They're doing a bit of a long-range tank engagement. Blue 4, they're using the Rika, like American, like standard M1 Abrams and MBT-70s. But over here we got T-72 Modernas and Tradis. Very high-end, very powerful tanks. So they're going to be holding the open field, making sure nothing can get across. Good mortars on the Ihawk, almost killing it. They 1 HP left. A bunch of infantry being brought for the bottom. Red 4 trying to make an attack down here. As the infantry hold the day alive, but they are supported by Leclerc and LAVM all the way in the back line. That Leclerc is in the perfect position to shoot anything that does try and get too close. It's just sort of a killing field, because if Red 4 want to move up, they're going to be exposed. Exposed to Leclerc and mortars and Panthers. And heck, even an F-18. You know, there's a Leclerc in the forest, they want to see it. Probably so we can get an ATGM off. But the Leclerc suits the recon guy before he can even get close. Now it's sort of a stalemate. Both sides is artillery in back and forth. And it's an napalm arty. It's going to be pretty inaccurate and not too effective. We have a Blue 4 push up here with some Panthers and Cassiopees. But we have a bunch of man-pads ready to stop him. They've already prepared. Yes, he split up all the infantry down here. Split up all the transports. They're going to be moving up. And I don't think the Leclerc can suit that many transports. Same with the Super Cobra down here. So it might just be just sheer numbers. They're going to get some control in the town. And the RSJ2, the Motskuchens, make the landing. But some of them are going to be left out in the open as there's no space to take cover. And that is holy crap. 4 Alpha Jets and an intruder. This place is going to get awfully hot very soon. And yes it does, yeah, it's just bathed in fire. Yeah, so it did not work as they did not quite work as they Red 4 expected it to. Perfect unison of the planes, yeah. It seemed like they're all flying in formation. Blue 4 bringing up more infantry reinforcements. Yeah, it's a mortar fire. Trying to knock out the clerk who's been doing an awful lot of damage, so much damage, and he's almost out of ammo. And to be honest, oh, yeah, he goes. There goes the clerk. Tunguska just being a bane on the Blue 4 helicopters, shooting them as they get close. Yeah, it's amazing that Red 4 hasn't tried to plop down the CV in Delta at all. They had control of his forest the entire time. It's just the town that was trouble. They could have at least put run infantry Z, or heck, even a tank TV if you want to be completely safe. And they could be gaining a +1 advantage. And oh, Blue 4, Blue 4, you sneaky bastards! Exactly, this is what you should be doing. Try and neutralise the enemy point. Even though his CV will be going down in a minute or so, Blue 4 has got in the lead by quite a bit. That is some good. That's some good offensive play here. Some passive offensive play. As they do that, Blue 4 try to regain the bottom of Delta. Red 4 do have pretty good lockdown on the bridge, or on the open, or on the town on Delta. Got Moderners and BMPs, not directly all over. Trying to make sure nothing gets across. Here's the F-18C Hornet, it does get the Moderna, but really get out of here. No, it does not. A sacrifice for us making, you. There's the mortars on the Tunguska. And here comes the infantry post. We've got a bunch of Panzer and mortar on A3s. And these are expensive transports. But they do have that Milan F2 launcher and a pretty decent autocannon to boot. They're just going to stroll right on through, just dish some damage with their nice powerful little autocannon. Chasing the Tunguska. And a very nice recapture of a town air from Blue 4. They're just charging in those mortar run A3 still. In two of them still have not unloaded. So they might try and do some back raging with the manned mortar run A3 still. But oh, they are going to meet their demise. Tank destroys, Mi-8Ts. Going to be stunning them up a bit. And J5s, bombs. Still, these guys are still alive, and he does unload a Panzer Grench. You may want to try and get into that forest. Try to slay down. And finally, Red 4 has managed to put a CV onto Delta. They're given that +1 advantage. They should be able to catch up in probably 5 minutes or so. Nah, I'd say like 3 to 4 minutes. And they're being the lead once again. So still, it could be anyone's game. Bunch of infantry being brought out from Red 4. BMP run Ds, an awful lot of him actually. Amphibious assault here from Blue 4. Marines are going to be unloading, making good use of that riviera. And they're going to have that town under air control, and if he can get s'mores up, he can do some long range shots at enemy tanks and the enemy infantry. The ZSDs is fired from afar. And here comes the mortar fire, jeez. It's like 6 odd mortars or so. But the Marines are going to be holding out. They are tough bastards, that's for sure. There's a cluster artillery just trying to get anything from AA to moving up infantry transports. And we've got a bunch of pvAcjW all flying once again, tightly together, dropping a bunch of nape into the forest. Yeah, gonna get in those Zrandujo, Luzrandis, Luzandus. A bunch of napalm from Redfall in retaliation. And 9 minutes left. Redfall need to try and plop another CV onto Delta. Ignizio's points are in. Because it's going to be very close. There's some mortar firing. The flak panzers as well, trying to keep the enemy MI8 at bay. And oh, the BMP Rundis, he's not even going to unload in the town. He's just going straight for it. That's a bit ballsy. That was the wrong move, mate. He's going to get stunned up by a flak panzer charge and his motos are all out in the open. And because of that, Chasseurs have managed to land in. Not for too long. And holy crap, there is a lot of Czech tank destroyers. I just want to know, these are just like German half-tracks. Like World War II German half-tracks with an AT gun on the back. Here comes the LVTPs. The one lone marine tries to hold on, waiting for reinforcements to cross that river. But the ZSD-90's just tearing them up. It's that very nasty 25mm cannon. So much so it just ran out of ammo. And shooting that much, it ran out of ammo. J5 dropping in some bombs. Six minutes left, Red 4 are ever so close to catching up. They just need to get a CV onto Delta. Got AMX 10Ps going round. But this seems to be a battle of the infantry transports. You know what are Blue 4 doing? They're doing a smoke barrage onto Echo. Could this be an assault? They're going to try and attack, or just trying to block line of sight so they can't be shot at. Yeah, it's an awful lot of smoke being dropped down. Bit of amphibious play up top. Some down to the AMXs. Once again, Delta has been neutralised, and Red 4 are going to catch up. That's to bring up 2 CVs. They want to be double so they can hold it. But Blue 4 has the town under their control. If they just move up a wee bit, they can try and deal with the enemy CVs inside. But yeah, it's a J5 dropping in the nape. T80 it's just throwing, both sides are throwing everything they got onto Delta. And yeah, a little bit of an armor push in Echo. Bit of back and forth, back and forth. I don't think it can make too much happen though in 3 minutes. Might be a little bit of a race in time. You can't really deal with all of this in 3 minutes. Red 4 trying to pile up into Delta. They are now in the lead. 2 minutes left. Can they hold on to it? To get another CV onto Delta. Sea Cobra's far from afar. Got a bunch of S-24 lines. There's nasty 240mm rockets. We're trying to keep the tanks at bay. And Blue 4 are going to try and do something in a last resort. Is sending his VAB onto this lone little desert island. Try and neutralise the point, but that won't be enough. Red 4 are in the lead by quite a bit. I think this is probably going to be a GG for them, but Blue 4 are not going to give up. They're doing run final pisses. Abrams, AMXs, infantry, Mistrals, charging across that bridge, trying to capture as much territory as they can. But oh, they are getting a +2 now. They have managed to put infantry into the desert island. Really, it's going to be up to ZSD90 to kill it. Oh, they might catch up. Oh, really? I know. Delta's neutralized. The ZSD has found it and it has killed it. And that is going to be a GG. Red 4 are going to be winning that engagement, even though it was technically a draw. And to be honest, that was close enough to be a draw. Just a very well-played game from both sides, very offensive on the middle. I did like what Blue 4 did on top. They constantly pressed with the top side, with all the amphibious transports and helicopters landing onto that desert island, taking advantage of it. And yeah, it's a very overall good game from both sides. Overall, the KD is pretty similar. Red 4 in the lead by Red 4 having a slightly higher KD. But yeah, a very good match. A very good match indeed. Now, overall, that's all I have time for. This has been another Rangroo cast. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And most importantly,